Chapter starts with Vegapunk 5 giving a command to the pacifistas to eradicate every last Marine on the island. All the Marines are frightened as they hear this new order for the pacifistas. In the next moment, we see the pacifistas receiving their new orders. As they process these orders, they begin shooting towards the Marines. Marines are blown away by the pacifistas' attack, shouting warnings to their comrades to get away from the pacifistas or else they would be destroyed. Terrified, the Marines seek cover, while the pacifistas continuously wreak havoc, targeting and shooting at the Marines. Marine captains are in shock, realizing that Vegapunk has also left the dome. Someone from Vegatank urgently calls out to Bonnie, saying they've found her. Frankie, in a concerned tone, questions how they are going to drive straight, fearing they might just end up falling. Vegapunk replies, "The Vega tires on either side of us are made of the same clouds as the road. They have a peculiar property which makes them stick to themselves. We won't be falling anywhere." Sanji suddenly announces that they've found her. Frankie, in disbelief, is taken aback. Sanji confidently remarks, "When has my lady radar ever been wrong?" Vegapunk comments, "That radar of yours doesn't sound very scientific, but I'll put my faith in you, Sanji." Without hesitation, Sanji exits the tank swiftly, declaring, "I appreciate it, but this tank is too slow for my burning heart. I'll be right back in an instant." The scene shifts to Bonnie, who is hiding and murmurs with relief, "Good, now the pacifistas are on our side." Suddenly, she is ambushed by a Marine captain, but she skillfully manages to dodge the attack. She not only dodged the attack, but also took out his gun, using his move to destroy multiple Marines at once. The moment the Marines were hit, their bodies turned into skeletons, and they all collapsed. The Marine captain was also alarmed, witnessing his fellow Marines transform into skeletons. He shouted, asking what had possessed them. Bonnie, running straight towards the pacifistas, thought they wouldn't attack her. However, one of the pacifistas declared that it wouldn't let Bonnie escape. Bonnie was taken aback by the unfolding events. Then, atop one of the pacifistas, Navy Admiral Bluegrass appeared, reassuring Bonnie, "Don't panic. Only this pacifista is on the Marines' side. It's not affected by orders and is now my personal ride." Suddenly, the pacifista launched an attack. Bonnie, paralyzed by shock, couldn't move. The attack was aimed directly at her, but just before it could hit, Sanji swooped in, saving her. "You can't freeze up like that," he admonished. Sanji continued, "I know Kuma was your father, but you have to keep a cool head." Suddenly, a Marine soldier leaped into the air from behind, attempting to strike Sanji. Sanji deftly dodged the attack and began to run, urging that they should retreat for now. The Vegatank was nearby, and Vegapunk beckoned them to climb aboard. Vegapunk 5 declared, "Let's head back. The pacifistas are on our side again. We have no business left down here." The scene transitions to the Labostratum, where powerhouses Monkey D. Luffy and Admiral Kizaru are engaged in an aerial clash. Kizaru remarks, "I'm in a bind because I have a job to do, and I can't complete it if we keep playing around." Luffy, in Gear 5, retorts, "That was my plan. I'm also doing my job, and you're the one hindering me," followed by a hearty laugh. Kizaru responds, "Well, that's the problem." Luffy, in his Gear 5 form, darted around energetically, ready for the next phase of their battle. Vegapunk states, "They are among the most formidable figures in the world." Frankie, taken aback, retorts, "It doesn't matter. We need to leave now." Suddenly, a mysterious figure begins to emerge from a magic circle. Sanji, sensing a powerful presence, warns, "Something's coming out of that magic circle." A Marine, who wasn't supposed to gaze upon the entity known as Saint Saturn, dared to look. Another Marine hastily cautioned him, saying they weren't permitted to look, but it was too late. Saint Saturn's eyes glowed ominously, and in an instant, the defiant Marine met his end. Emerging fully, the figure revealed himself as Saint Saturn, one of the 5 elders, known as the defense science warrior god. He now appeared in a colossal form, surrounded by a dark aura. Horns adorned his head, and spider-like legs supported his massive frame. He mused, "It's been ages since I last set foot on the surface." Bonnie, in shock, wondered aloud, "What is this creature?" Sanji urgently yelled, "Vegapunk, watch out!" Vegapunk 5 observed, "He's targeting the clouds." In the midst of this chaos, Kizaru unleashed an attack, but it went astray. As Kizaru was preoccupied, Luffy, in his Gear 5 form, appeared from behind. He executed his muscle attack, manifesting a surge of power. Kizaru taunted, "Haven't you reached your limit with that form yet?" Frankie, with fervor in his voice, shouted, "We're counting on you, Luffy!" As Kizaru prepared his next move, Luffy readied his attack. With a series of powerful spins, he launched his White Star gun straight into Kizaru's face. The impact was so devastating that even Kizaru seemed to have reached his limit. SATURN, witnessing Luffy's prowess, was seething with anger. He muttered the word Nika. Luffy, sensing the gravity of the situation, darted around, trying to evade SATURN's gaze. But fatigue was setting in, and in a dramatic moment, Luffy collapsed to the ground. The Vegatank crashed into a nearby building, ejecting its occupants. With Luffy now vulnerable on the ground, Frankie turned to Vegapunk, asking, "Are you all right?" Sanji, concerned, checked on Atlas, inquiring about her well-being. She nodded in affirmation. Vegapunk, surveying the scene and the giant figure, mused, "Is that Saint Saturn, I presume?" Saint Saturn responded, "In the flesh. I see you've managed to cling on to life, Vegapunk." He began to issue an order to Vegapunk, but before he could finish, Bonnie unsheathed her sword. With a determined leap, she plunged it straight into Saint Saturn. The chapter's final panel captured the piercing gaze of Saturn alongside the tear-filled eyes of Bonnie, marking a dramatic conclusion.